coming and for joining us in the second planting of a tree, a memorial tree for Juanita Haugen. I remember several weeks or maybe even a couple months ago driving into the office and seeing the tree having split into threes and feeling really sad. But this is a really great opportunity to come back and remind ourselves why we planted it in the first place and the legacy of the work that continues through the community collaborative, the Community of Character Collaborative in partnership with the city. So come on up, Heather. Come on up. Yeah, and Steve, come on up. You guys are all going to say something. Thank you for coming. We're so happy to have you here. We're really bummed to see it go, but we're actually happy to be able to clean up the area, make it look presentable again, and replant a tree. So in your mother's memory, we're grateful for all the things that she did in the community, specifically for the kids. And we think of her every time we ask kids to come up and stand and take pictures with us, and all of the work that the collaborative has done to support the Community of Character effort. So thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. And we have Steve Maher here, who's he knew Juanita well, so he's gonna share some memories with her.
Okay, hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. When I was asked to say a few words, I jotted down some items I remember about Juanita. First of all, thank you Dave for asking me to say a few words. Juanita was a very special person. I was introduced to Juanita in 1979. Woo. How many of you weren't born yet? And Juanita was a school board trustee of the old Amador Valley Joint High School District, not the elementary district. And so I met her back then as she would visit the elementary school still, even though she was a high school trustee. And then in 1982, I believe it was, I was appointed to be the principal of Vintage Hills. It was a teaching principal position. And who would be in my first class in 4th grade but Holly Haugen, Juanita's daughter. And so Juanita, of course, volunteered to be a room mother and attend all the field trips. And our highlight was going to the state capitol. And if you knew Juanita, she was very active at the state capitol in regards to education. And so she took us on a tour of the capitol. And so it was a very great trip that the students really liked. In 1985, Vintage Hills burnt down, or at least part of it did. And who was out there working over the Memorial Day weekend was Juanita, cleaning desks, helping us get moved down to here, as a matter of fact, for the last couple weeks of school. And then in 1988, the districts, the elementary and the high school district, came together. And Dave, if you were superintendent back then, you would have had a school board meeting every week. High school one week, elementary the next week. So you would have attended 48 school board meetings for sure.
Oh boy.
So I think they finally, plus the administration was all the same. Ed, you would have been both districts, so you wouldn't have been paid more, but you would have been. So they formed a new district along the freeway lines, and we gave back Dublin High School and Valley Continuation. We took Leidixon and Donald over to Pleasanton. Became the Pleasanton Unified School District, and Juanita was voted on that board for the first board. So she became one of the first board members. And she made it a routine to visit all the time, all the schools, not just the science schools, but she visited all the schools, and especially Thomas Hart. Her and Tom knew each other, and so she was always out to school. And her famous words, when I think back, were, "Let's walk and talk. Let's walk and talk. I want to see the kids." So she would go out, visit all the classrooms, ask questions, talk to teachers. And then before she left, she always made the comment, "What can I do for you? What do you need? Let me know what you need, and I will find a way to get it for you." So that's how I remember Juanita on that. And then when she was in the hospital, how many of you know Pat Mitchell? Pat was an aide at heart and kind of knew everything. And
still does.
So Pat one day came to me and said, "Steve, I was at the hospital last night, and Juanita said, 'Where is that Steve Maher? Tell him I want to see him.'"
Ooh.
So I was summoned, and so that next day, certainly at night, I did go. And when I went in to the hospital, she talked for a few minutes and then said, well, I need to let you go. You need to rest for tomorrow. And I still remember this because my wife was there. She reminded me that she grabbed my hand and said, Steve, you take care of my district. And that's how I remember the last words that I spoke with her. And then when she had the service, it was such a large service because of the admiration of the community and what she stood for. They used Hart parking lot for the overflow parking, and we shuttled to the hospital, or excuse me, to the church. And then we had the reception at Hart Middle School. So Juanita is a very special person. Stood for education, and I often tell myself, if I could be 1/10 the school board trustee that she was, I would consider myself successful. So I try to judge myself by what would Juanita say, and I can't say any more than that. She just was a wonderful person. She had 4 wonderful daughters. Holly is a teacher, I believe, right? Teaches special ed. Brentwood?
Brentwood, at Cray Elementary, special ed teacher.
Special ed, right. So.
Heidi's the science teacher. She might retire this year in the Elk Grove School District, high school science teacher. And Hillary was a teacher, then a vice principal, and then she's worked for the Contra Costa County Office of Education for many years now. And she just got a new job. She's the director of college and career readiness. It's a brand new job for her. So they couldn't be here today. They wish they could.
They're working with kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess, do you want to say a few weather words or anything? Or?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. This, you were all her family. I mean, she loved this place. This was her Pleasanton was a family to her. And this was her second home for probably around 28 years. So just shy of 30 years she was on the school board. And prior to that, she was always involved in any community where we lived. Any community. She just felt that it was very important to get out and do things for your community. And she was on the PTA and involved in when she went to church, she was involved with church. She was involved with every aspect of the community, trying to bring people together, always trying to build consensus. And one thing that, I don't know that you know this, but something that governed her was love, that agape type of love. It was her strongest core value. She had books on love, Leo Buscalia's book on love, and they took up the majority of her bookcase. And I think that's where she was centered and focused, and she came out with that value in everything that she did. And perhaps that's where she got her energy. She would be touched. Maybe her spirit is here with us today. She'd be very touched with all of you and this tree ceremony. The earlier days for my mom, she studied sociology at school, and she had a firm desire to help any community, as I said before, but also for service to the community, volunteer service. So even during the times when she was working, she still volunteered a great deal. I don't know where she got that energy, but she studied sociology. She became a parole officer when she got out of the University of Southern California. And she realized, was that
right on?
Somebody said right on.
That was me.
She'd probably be upset with their character the past few years and what happened. I know my mom would be very upset with all of that. She said, let's bring that community of character, collaborative information, and the core values back into that campus. But she saw these issues as a parole officer, and she thought, this is not going to work. I need to go further back. We need to reach all these children with education first. So we have to reach our youth so that they don't end up getting into that system and having to have the parole officers. So that's where she really got more involved in education at earlier stages. And she met my father, and they moved up here. And while she was at the school district, they brought character education into the schools. And the students would sometimes say, well, my parents aren't acting that way. So they said, you bring up a good point. Let's reach out to the whole community and make this all ages, our entire community, to share these core values, focus on these values that were selected by the city, by the people of the city. They voted for compassion, honesty, integrity, responsibility, respect, and self-discipline. And so those are the values that the community chose. She was very much into the community choosing these values. We do have some board members from the Community of Character Collaborative here today. Chief, Interim Chief, Craig Eicher, and if you want to come up here.
Oh heavens, no.
Oh, Kate Dior. I saw Ken Mano, Joni Fields, and anyone
Kathleen.
else on the board? Oh, Kathleen Reese. Yes. Thank you. The board, the board is comprised of people from all aspects of the city. You have education, the city itself. We have city representatives, the sports and parks and rec, parks and recreation, the faith community, and other individuals. So they come together to form our board of directors. It started out as a coalition, then became a collaborative. Right after my mom died, it became a 501c3. And then we were able to have a scholarship in her name. So every year, all 3 high schools receive at least 1 scholarship per high school. And then we also have a May annual awards luncheon where we honor people in the community of any age making a difference with good character traits and showcasing those good core values. And we certainly, my mom would be thrilled today to see all of you here, and all of you I know share these core values and love the city of Pleasanton too. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything about it? Joni, I know you.
No, I don't.
Well, thank you everybody for coming.
Thank
We
you.
came to plant a tree, so I'm going to ask Steve and Heather. There's 2 shovels.
Oh, right.
So
Thank you.
Heather, if you'd grab the gold shovel, and Steve, you get the silver because you're 10%.
Hey you. Oh, I thank you.
Grab a pile of dirt from the pile there. Start shoveling, and you can nominate the next person to take over the shovel for you when you're ready. So we'll get a picture real fast. Great.
Chief?
But we're not going to make Heather just sort of shove it all in?
Okay, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. All right.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Hey, come on, somebody else. Get that silver shovel. Oh, you.
I got it. You got the gold one, I got the silver one. Ready? Yep. There you are. All right, hand it over. Come on,
Okay.
Kathleen.
Craig, you're going to have to. Sorry. Oh, Kathleen. Hey, Craig.
Great. There you go.
How embarrassing.
When you were next. After you do your bill. So we're going to ask Juan Castro to come up and take the silver shovel. Juan's been out here every morning for quite a while getting this ready. Thank you, Juan. I pulled in just before 7 or about 6:40 this morning, and Juan was out here with a little light on his helmet.
Juan's been with the school district for a very long time.
Yes, he has.
He was a child when he came.
Juan, who gave you your...
Juanita handed me my diploma.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mom loved you, Juan. Juan's known my mom since he was a child. Just
Come on, you guys, we got chores.
all right, Joni. Come on, Joni and Carolyn.
already did it.
Well, do it again. You know, a repeat.
Do you want to get up there? Come on, Glenn. Glenn will take another shovel.
Get up there,
Come
Glenn.
on, Glenn. And Mila, you need to do it too. You should do it.
There we go.
Come on, Ed. Let's go. Get up there. Ed.
It's all going to be done after us.
Soft soil, actually. No.
Ron's got it all ready for everybody.
All right. Mila.
Strong earth, rocks, clay.
Scott, you're here.
Okay, Brandon, you're going up.
Hiding in the back.
I know what you were doing.
Patrick, you need to get I'm in love.
All right, somebody give a shovel to
Well, I
Patrick.
think we were going to settle on all those dates and stuff at our...
There you go.
Patrick and Scott. Bring it in, guys. Bring it in. You can take it to a close.
One more.
What about Chris?
Here, Chris.
Come on, your turn.